Hi there, welcome to this pick a card reading for the week of August the 16th to August the 22nd. We are still in Leo season this week. There's a lot of Leo energy. We've got the Venus retrograde in Leo. And we have last week we crossed the halfway point, so we're really starting to integrate that Venus retrograde energy. Venus retrograde in Leo is activating our heart center, activating all of our heart, like all topics related to the heart. Leo is the sign that rules the heart. Venus rules all things relating to the heart. So it's really important this week, and it has been really important up to now as well, to follow our heart, to allow our heart to open, to shine, to lead the way, to be heart-led during this time. So we're reaching like the pinnacle of this energy. The sun will move out of Leo at the end of the week on August the 23rd. We start Virgo season, so we're starting to move out of that energy, but for this week, it's really potent. We have the new moon in Leo on Wednesday, the 16th. It is conjunct the Venus retrograde, conjunct Lilith in Leo. So it's amplifying really that deep work we're doing on the heart space, healing your heart with the Lilith aspect, the Lilith component here. We do have things coming up, things coming to the surface to be healed around trauma, around abandonment, around rejection, around wounding. So it's been quite a painful journey for a lot of people, especially if you're resistant to opening your heart, resistant to being vulnerable, to being heart-led, to trusting in that heart love energy, that love energy. There's been a lot of lessons around what love means, how love feels, how we engage in love. So this week will be all about that. And with that new moon, we can set intentions. We can set an intention to move forward in a different way in our lives. So you can change the way that you move into the future. And that new moon will give you and will amplify and give you a positive burst of energy towards this new direction. It is making a square with Uranus in Taurus, and so it's activating that Taurus storyline. We've been dealing with it all year, so there's going to be tension coming up through that square as well. So just knowing that it's not going to be a simple, easy new moon. There's a lot of heavy stuff coming up, but it's got a purpose. It's for us to heal, it's for us to grow, for our expansion, to become more enlightened, because we need our heart space to be open. We need to be able to be vulnerable and to drop into that space if we're ever going to move through life in an enriched way, to feel that sense of wealth and abundance and creativity and all the beautiful things that come in our lives that we are all reaching for come from an open heart. So that's what this has been all about. So we have 3 piles to choose from. We have connect to your heart, connect to heart, pile number 1, pile number 2, the warrior, pile number 3, power. So take your time, pick which pile resonates with you, which one's speaking to you, and I will see you in your reading.
Before we move into the readings, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I am working from today, the Kumbengi people, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. I recognize their continued connection to the land and their culture, and that this is and always will be Aboriginal land.
Hello there, pile number 1. Welcome to your pick a card reading. You chose connect to heart. I really think that I covered most of what this card means in the introduction when I was talking about Venus retrograde and it being all about us opening our heart space. So a lot of people have been resisting that heart opening space. It's a pretty cliche, common storyline where people are avoiding being vulnerable, avoiding opening their heart because of past hurt, because it's scary, because there's risks involved, because it does involve a lot of emotion, and a lot of people don't really have the skills or the capacity to deal with those strong emotions. A lot of us were never really taught how to self-regulate properly, like how to do it properly, how to self-soothe properly in healthy, wholesome ways, in ways that support us and benefit us. And so a lot of people avoid doing this work, this heart-opening work, for that reason. And it's really sad, because anything that we want in life, anything that we really desire for our lives that enriches our lives, like any form of like beautifulness that we can engage in life comes from a place of vulnerability. You have to be able to be vulnerable to move through vulnerability to get there. That's really that's the truth of the matter. And so if you are opening your heart and following your heart and allowing your heart to guide you, even though it's risky, then you're on the right track, you're doing the work, and you will be rewarded. And if it does feel hurt, like if you do open your heart and it does hurt, and you, like, say you open your heart to somebody and they reject you or something like that, with that Lilith component is very possible. It's what you do with that matters. That's what you do with that counts in the long term. Like, what meaning do you apply to that? And how do you move forward anyway? How do you keep your head held up? Do you keep your head held high? Sorry. Or do you shut down again? Shut your heart down again? Because we can't be creative in life if we have a closed heart. So this is part of your journey this week to tap into that and learn about that on a deeper level, on a more profound level. We have the 7 of Coins. We have the Page of Wands. And the 2 of Swords. So when we are working with our heart space, working to keep our hearts open, that's a hard word for me to say apparently. When we are keeping our hearts open, we are actually investing in ourselves. 7 of Coins, we're actually doing the work and putting energy into yourself. Okay, so we open our hearts for ourselves. When we are feeling loving towards other people, it feels good to us. When we are feeling loving towards ourselves, it feels good to us. When we do things that are creative and give out a light to other people and to the world, it feels good to us. It's an investment in yourself. So recognizing that even if it is not received in the way that you want it to be received, it's worth doing because you're investing in yourself. Every time you take a step towards something that your heart is calling you towards, you are giving yourself a message, giving your heart a message, giving your state, your being a message that you have your own back, that you love yourself, that you honor yourself, you respect yourself. So every time we walk our talk, we strengthen our bond with ourselves and strengthen our sense of self. So it's worth it. It's an investment. This is what the Page of Wands is telling you, to follow that joy, that creative spark. So you may feel a creative spark. You may feel a sense of joy. Something may come up for you this week that ignites you. Okay, and that's following that, making that decision, 2 of Swords, to follow that. You can choose which path you go on down this track. You get to choose. You have free will. So what choice are you making for yourself? We have 2 of Wands and the Emperor. And we have 10 of Coins and 7 of Cups. Queen of Swords and the 9 of Wands. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the 2 of Coins. I think there is a tendency at this time with this Venus retrograde to get a little bit confused because we most people are not used to using their heart in this way, using the heart as their guidance. We're more used to, this is a tendency in general, we're more used to letting our minds decide, creating a logical rationale behind our reactions, behind our behaviors, behind our decisions. We tend to lean more towards making logical decisions, thinking through our decisions rather than feeling. And that's not working right now. That doesn't work. It's not conducive with the energy right now. And so it can be very confusing. A lot can come up. So the thing is, when we close our heart, and then when we open it again, it has so much it wants to tell us. It can feel overwhelming because so much bubbles up because you've been ignoring it for so long. So this 7 of Cups is coming out a lot with this Venus retrograde. I think it's just bringing your awareness back to, there's a lot to focus on. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that will want your attention. But it's just because you're not used to it. It will ease the more that you engage in this energy. I think that you have a lot to juggle. We got the 2 of Coins on the bottom of the deck. You're sort of juggling between the head and the heart. With this, the Queen of Swords here does tell me, and the 2 of Swords, that you are trying to create a healthy balance. We do need to balance the head and the heart because the heart can take us off into fantasy fairyland. So there is a need for our minds to kind of direct the heart, but the problem is that the heart is meant to lead, and then the mind kind of directs it, but we actually do it the other way, where we let the head lead and our heart doesn't get any say. So we're creating more of a healthy balance. You are creating more of a healthy balance this week and trying to juggle that, and it could feel really difficult this week. It could feel like a juggle. We have the Knight of Coins and the Three of Coins. So there are other people involved in this situation. I like that for you. I think they really value you. I don't think that they have negative or like I think they have good intentions, is what I'm trying to say. I think they see what you have to offer, and they want that, and they like that, and they want to come together with you. Again, this might be where the juggle comes in, the juggling of what's yours and what's mine, maybe a part of this emotional navigation that you're doing this week. The Knight of Coins has come in to remind you to just take one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. It's not going to all get done this week. Even though you can set your intentions on that new moon on the 16th, on Wednesday, so as we open up this week, you can set the intention. It's going to take time to manifest in reality. And so we also do start Virgo season at the end of the week on the 23rd, next Wednesday. So we have the Knight of Coins here, is a Virgo ruled card of the tarot. And we're moving into Virgo season. We are moving into a Mercury retrograde in Virgo. So recognizing that this is going to be a progress. This is an investment in your future. So there is like this Two of Wands vision for the future, but it's not going to all align now. We've got the Nine of Coins. So this vision for your future, of the future self that you want to be, you are creating that. And this is how we do that. We create it through the combination of head and heart. We create it through allowing our heart to lead and allowing our heart to hold that vision. The heart space is our creative space. It's also the space that magnetizes our experiences to us. So when our heart space is unhealthy or is closed, has defensive walls around it, we cannot magnetize these really awesome experiences. So this is part of that process. This is part of you taking those steps towards the future that you wish for yourself, towards having security and having all the things in your life. We go from the Nine of Coins to the Ten of Coins. You can literally be manifesting really beautiful, really safe, secure, long-term, solid, something you can rely on, things into your space, into your reality through this heart space. Even if it's confusing, even if it's clouded and it's a juggle, you're doing it. You're doing the work. Well done. And there's that Seven of Cups again. So there may be multiple, in fact, there are multiple things that you are trying to achieve, and you may be feeling very inspired towards multiple directions, is what I'm seeing for you. So it may be like you want a career and a relationship, and you want to travel, and it's like maybe all these things are conflicting. Maybe you want a baby and you want to travel, and I'm just giving you big examples, but apply this to your life how you will. It may feel like you want a lot of things to fulfill your life, and you're feeling very conflicted about which direction to take. Maybe you're even being inspired by conflicting things. Now, the Knight of Coins is telling you to just do one thing at a time, break everything down into manageable steps, what you can manage today, maybe not thinking too much about the future and how it's all going to work out. The universe is amazing at creating situations that we cannot even fathom, that meet all of the needs that we are asking for. When we think that they're so conflicting, they're so different, sometimes the universe has a way. So don't let an overwhelmment of too many goals to get in your way. And if that is happening for you, drop back into the heart. The heart knows best. The heart knows what it wants. And just trusting that process. We've got the Three of Swords. There's there's something really magical that happens when we open our heart consistently, when we like consciously work on having an open heart for a consistent amount of time. I'm talking about like every single day, throughout the day, breathing into that heart space, checking in with that heart space, making sure it hasn't closed, making sure you're coming from it, doing meditations, doing whatever practice it requires, your spiritual practice looks like, doing that work. Something really magical happens in the heart space when you tune in and it feels clear. So when you can feel into that energy, you can feel the difference. You can really feel the difference. And so doing that work will clear up so much confusion for you. Queen of Swords will bring a lot of clarity, not just to your heart space, but to your mental space as well, to your mind. There may be something that has happened in the past that has been very painful to you for you, Three of Swords. Okay, and maybe it's even put this blindfold on you, Two of Swords, where you haven't been seeing very clearly. That's why this Queen of Swords is here. There's some clarity coming. There is clarity coming and a decision to be made around something that is painful. When the Three of Swords comes out, it does refer to pain, but it also refers to healing. So there could be healing, or there is going to be healing that comes through clarity, through thinking of things in a clear, logical way. Like I said, that balance, juggling the heart and the logic and applying it in a healthy dose. So having your heart lead and your mind sort of directing it like the rudder. So that when you're in that space, when you've been doing that consistently, if you do that all week, there can be this healing that comes from that, a healing of the mind as well. We have the Wheel of Fortune with the Emperor. I feel like this, what we were talking about with you creating something really beautiful for yourself, particularly that vision of what you want for your life to look like. Maybe you're really looking over your entire life and making some really big decisions about your goals. Really good time to do that with that new moon in Leo, particularly goals that relate to your heart. And who's going to be involved in these goals? Are you going to collaborate with? Who are you going to be in a relationship with? Who are you going to work with? Who needs to be on board? That being in that space, doing that work with aligning the head and the heart and allowing both your head and heart to make those decisions together, to come together to make those decisions, it puts you in a position of ownership of your own life. You're in a position where you are the ruler of your domain, the ruler of your own life. It's a very empowered place to be, and it's a place, if you can get to that space, it will turn your whole life around, okay? This is what the Wheel of Fortune is talking about. It could be that this Emperor is another person with the Three of Coins here. And if there is somebody coming into your life or somebody in your life that is represented by this Emperor, they are worth investing in. But I feel like more likely it is that this new mindset, or this mindset and heart set where you are combining the head and the heart, is going to put you into a very empowered place where you are taking ownership of your life and your creations. And we have the Hermit with the Seven of Cups here. Again, Hermit energy is the Virgo energy that we begin next week. We'll be moving right into that Virgo season, Virgo energy. So this is something that will extend into Virgo season with Mercury retrograde. I've done a separate reading. I've done a separate video with the Mercury retrograde, and it has a tarot card reading for each zodiac sign. So I'll link that down below. Check it out. And so that Virgo energy is going to be important in this. So this is like long term. This isn't just this week, but that Virgo energy is going to allow you, the Mercury retrograde is going to allow you to look at these places, look at all the things that you're trying to create and where there's conflict and where it doesn't all align and where you're confused, and get some clarity around it. It does require doing internal self-inventory, going inwards, going internal. The Hermit is about finding the light from within, doing an inward journey. And so that's where you can get some clarity. You go inwards and you discover what it is you want, what's going to light you up, and who you want it to be with, who is going to be in collaboration with you for this. And that is going to clear up any of this confusion. Okay, and we have the Three of Cups with the Nine of Wands, and we've got the Four of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So definitely other people involved. This could be in a work capacity with the Three of Coins. It can also be friendships with the Three of Cups. It can be both. Apply this how you will. So there is this need to look at and take that lens, that self-inventory lens, to where you are protecting yourself or holding yourself back from connection, from connecting with other people. Maybe you're not seeing things clearly, and maybe because of what you have been through in the past. Maybe you've been hurt in the past. Maybe you have been let down in the past. And you've been through a lot. When the Nine of Wands comes out, you've been through a lot and you've overcome a lot, particularly in a mental capacity, like because there's so many swords here. It might be that your mind has been put through a lot and it has created this like defense mechanism, these defense walls that are maybe keeping you blocked, you're keeping your heart blocked from fully allowing yourself to be vulnerable and open with other people. Not seeing the wealth, the richness in those connections with other people because of fear. So that can be coming up for you too, and it's something you can work on to move towards something better for yourself, to move towards this open-heartedness that is being asked of you, that you're engaging with. So that is your reading for this week. I hope this was beneficial for you. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care. Hello there, pile number 2. You have chosen the Warrior card. So this card has come out because there is some sort of conflict coming up for you this week. So the Warrior card comes out when there's a fight at hand, so when there's something to fight for. But the great thing about the warrior archetype is that the warrior has a cause. He has a direction, a motivation. He has something worth fighting for, something that fires him up. So this is really about what fires you up, what brings you a sense of purpose. With that Leo energy, we're all being activated to find our purpose, to find our heart's desires, to find what feels really good for us within our heart space, with the Venus retrograde there, wanting to bring more passion, more heat, more fire into our lives, to enliven us, to enrich our lives. So this could either be conflict with other people, conflict in your life, an internal conflict, or it could be just the motivation and amplification of moving towards a direction, having a goal for yourself. We have the Knight of Swords, Six of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. So with the Knight of Swords, it does tell me that there is some sort of drama coming up. There is some sort of like fight, maybe other people wanting to create drama for you, or drama's just coming up into your life for you to have to navigate, to have to move around, to decide, make decisive action, take decisive action on. Again, like I said, this can be around your purpose, around something that is like heart-oriented. Ten of Cups, it could be that passionate drive that you're going for. Like, what are you trying to achieve? Really looking at your motivations underlying this will be important this week. What is your motivation, particularly as we have that new moon in Leo on the 16th on Wednesday? We have that new moon where we get to decide the new direction of our lives. You get to choose what direction you're taking this energy in. All this energy with the retrograde, the Venus retrograde since July 23rd. Everything that has been accumulating, has been building since then. You get to choose where you channel that. So that warrior energy, that decisive action, taking that decisive action towards something that would really be, like, make your life more beautiful, make your life feel more beautiful, feel more enjoyable. There could be things coming up from childhood, Six of Cups, or coming up to do with children as well, involved in this situation for you. We have the Ace of Wands and the Queen of Coins. The Nine of Cups. The Eight of Wands. The Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Cups. On the bottom of the deck, we have a strength card. So with the strength card on the bottom of the deck, it does signify that there is something to fight for. There is a need for inner strength. The strength card is ruled by Leo as well. So it is signifying that Leo archetype, the Leo energy, the Venus retrograde, the Leo new moon. It's really amplifying the fact that that's really important. We already know that's really important. So I'm feeling like there is a need to stay true to yourself at this time. Stay true to your goals. Stay true to your desires, particularly things that you have been wanting or to achieve for yourself, or things that bring you joy for a long time, even from childhood. Like dreams and goals and aspirations and ambitions that come from, that you've, like, maybe you have sort of turned them down, turned the dial down, the volume down on them, and so you haven't really been listening to them. Maybe you have been engaging in responsibilities and what's expected of you, and other people have had a lot of demands on you, and so that dial has been turned down and you haven't been listening to these inner drives, these inner motivations, these things that bring you joy, that fill you up, that light your fire, that light you on fire for a long time. And now, as particularly this week with that new moon energy, it's like they're bubbling to the surface. The dial's just being like wound right up, and they're screaming at you, they're blaring at you is what I'm hearing. And so it's time to look at those. It's time to actually stop ignoring what brings you joy, ignoring your passions. And this doesn't have to be to do with like money or to do with love. It can just be creativity. It can be hobbies. I mean, it can be any of those things. It can be, I mean, this will be different for everybody, so apply this how you will. But it's those things that make your heart feel really good, that bring you joy, that feel fun, that you lose yourself in, you lose time in. It's those kinds of things. They're calling to you, and it's time to set a new intention. This new moon's a great time to set intentions. It's time to set a new intention to dedicate yourself, to give you that more time, more energy, more space, give it more airtime in your life. We have the Nine of Swords, and we have the Five of Swords. So there is fear and doubt and anxiety coming up. Nine of Swords is anxiety, right? So there's anxiety around this in some way. And also I feel like there's this inner conflict, Five of Swords. So there's like this battle going on between you. Maybe there's a part of you that's like, I can't do that. I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. This isn't worth it. I need to be making money. I need to be paying my rent. I need to be here for my family, or whatever. You know, there's this inner conflict, this coming out, this warrior type energy. There's a conflict, there's a fight coming out between these two components. But the thing is, when our heart is activated like this, and with this Venus retrograde, it's activating the heart space, it's making it really hard to ignore our heart's desires, our heart's needs. When the heart is activated like this, okay, you cannot rationalize it. You cannot use that mentality to, well, you can, but it's very painful, okay? Because we're trying to move into this open heart space. We're trying to be more heart-led at this time. This is a really powerful time for that. And so it's going to be really painful if you're in resistance to that. And this is what this conflict is coming out as. We've got the Three of Coins. I think there is an inspiration. Something is inspiring you. Something, like I said, something's lit you up, or something is lighting you up, lighting a fire in your belly, and it's really not like on track with or in alignment with where you have been trying to navigate towards. Like something, it's like a distraction. Something's come up to distract you. Could involve other people. Three of Coins. Maybe other people are wanting to distract you, and then you're like, I can't, but this feels amazing. I really want to. Okay, so it's something that's lighting a fire in your belly, and there's fear around it. Possibly the fear is, one, letting go of responsibilities or letting other people down. There could be this fear around letting other people down, but also it's also fear about, what if it was successful? What if it's amazing? What if I can't stop? You know, what will happen to my life? Like maybe you're in this comfort zone, and this new thing is calling your attention to take you in a different direction, and it will require moving outside of your comfort zone. It's going to require a significant amount of strength. Moving out of our comfort zone, moving into the unfamiliar does require strength because it feels uncomfortable to do it. This is your soul calling to you. I'm telling you right now, your soul is calling to you, and it may feel, especially if you're disconnected from your soul, if you're disconnected from your inner being, your higher powers, like if you are not somebody who really tunes in and listens all the time, like consistently, it may feel like fear and doubt and anxiety. You may have like this voice inside your head and you're not sure what's the difference between your intuition and what's actually guidance, and what's your ego calling you. So this is actually something that you that will be a wish fulfillment, and it's your soul calling you. It's about your desires, right? So our desires are the way that our soul speaks to us, and it's the way that our soul wishes to be expressed in this world. It's the experiences that our soul wishes to have in order for you to grow and to expand and to make the most out of this journey that you're on in this time-space reality, in this physical body, in this physical life. Those are our desires, are what are the indicators of that. But when we ignore those desires, it's very painful. It makes us feel very uneasy. And so recognizing this spark, what's been lit up in you, is calling you towards that. This is a new journey you're going on with that new moon. It's time to start prioritizing your soul. Start to prioritize your desires. And we have the King of Coins. Also, I think, when the Seven of Wands comes up, it's about defending yourself. It's about standing up for yourself, standing up for your alignment. So again, that warrior storyline, there could be somebody wanting to, somebody like questioning you. I feel like it's not really an attack. It's more of like questioning, like, why would you want to do that? Why are you doing that? And feeling you're having to defend yourself, feeling you're having to stand up for yourself. And maybe that's where the anxiety is coming from. Like, I'll have to explain myself to everybody. I think that when you are in a steady alignment with yourself, when you are feeling really good, really positive, when you're feeling into that space of being your own source of validation, it doesn't really matter what other people think. When you start to move in that space with an open heart, when it comes to answering those questions, if people do question you, either you just don't even feel the need to answer it, that's on them, or you can answer it in a way that comes from the heart space. And when we speak from our hearts, it's very clear. People can really understand it. Even if they don't understand your words, they can, on an energetic level, they can understand it. And so this is what I'm seeing with this King of Coins here, is you being in a really steady space, in a really steady sense of self, steady sense of well-being, to counteract any of those fears, to overcome any of those fears around having to explain yourself to other people. When you're really steady, when your identity is very strong and you're sure of your heart space, what your heart is calling from you, when you get sure, the whole world gets sure around you, okay? And people will understand. And we have the Queen of Swords with the Queen of Coins, this very feminine energy. So there is like this feeling of needing to take action with the Knight of Swords here, and feeling conflicted about what action to take with the Five of Swords. So when the Venus retrograde, she is the planet of the divine feminine. So the kind of action that a divine feminine would take is not the same action as a divine masculine. This warrior energy is a masculine energy. It is like a powerful going towards something energy, moving towards something, making something happen. That masculine energy is all about making things happen. The feminine energy is all about letting things happen. It's all about surrendering to the power of the universe. It's about nurturing things into life. I feel really strongly for you that's important. You're nurturing this into life. You're not making it happen. You're not going for it. It's about letting it happen, recognizing that this is happening. With the Queen of Coins, she is like, if you look at this picture, she's not gripping onto this coin. She's just holding it very gently with her fingers, because she has a complete understanding that all of her needs are always being met at all times. She understands universal flow. And from that understanding, she never has to have a tight grip on anything. She never has to do this rushing energy that the Knight of Swords has to do. So this also comes from clarity. The Queen of Swords, she is very clear. She has a very clear understanding about where she's going, what direction she's going in. So she really understands and knows. And that's how we clear up this conflict. And this is what I was saying with this King of Coins as well, is when you have that really clear, solid sense of self, King of Coins, Queen of Coins, And that's very clear within. The rest of the world clears up. There's clarity. When you're expressing yourself with clarity, the world responds to you with clarity. And so that's what's happening as you build your sense of self. We have the Two of Coins with the Eight of Wands. I feel like this is a forward momentum. There's a lot of forward momentum happening here. Again, on these dreams that are come from childhood, that come from that innocence of, so it might not be dreams that come from childhood, but it comes from that same energy of childhood, that playfulness, that joy, that open-heartedness is what I'm talking about. It will move things forward a lot quicker than any other way of being. So if you, instead of trying to take action to trying to force things to happen, if you tap into that allowing things to happen, receiving things, that receptivity, it's going to flow very quickly. There's going to be a lot coming in. You may even be juggling a lot, but it will be easy to do if you are tuning into that solid sense of self. It just really comes back to that solid sense of self. And we have the Queen of Cups. So again, just confirming, really solidifying that queen, that divine feminine approach. Again, with the Seven of Cups, there could be this internal conflict around not really knowing. There may be multiple things that come up for you even. Multiple directions you could go in and not really knowing what action to take and what direction to go in. Knowing that you want to fight for a cause, you want to fight for, like, you may have some like ambiguous vision of what you're fighting for, but not really knowing. There could be multiple ways that you could achieve the same goal and not really knowing. So the Queen of Cups is telling you to use your emotional guidance system, use your feelings, feel your way through this. You cannot logic your way through the things that are happening this month. It's all about your heart space this month. It's about, this week. It's about that heart-opening experience with the Queen of Cups. It's just that reminder to feel your way through it. Don't try and think your way through it. And we're investing, like Seven of Coins on the bottom of the deck, you're investing in your future. So when those doubts creep in, Nine of Swords, when those fears and anxiety creep in that maybe you shouldn't be doing this, maybe there's better ways of spending energy or whatever it is the doubts are, remind yourself that following your heart is always an investment in your future, and it's always an investment in yourself, and it's always worth it. Okay, so that is your reading for this week. I appreciate you being here with me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and I really look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great week. Hello there, pile number 3. Welcome to your pick a card reading. You chose the card of Power. Now, this card has come out because we're under the influence of the Venus retrograde, yes, and we are on the 16th, so this Wednesday we have the new moon in Leo. So this is a really powerful new moon because of the heightened Leo energy. This is a time of projecting this forward. Like, we've gone through a lot in the last couple of weeks. We have a lot of it's been brought to the surface, particularly a lot of trauma, a lot of like woundings, a lot of unconscious behaviors and feelings and programmings. It's been quite a mission. And this has come forward, and now with this new moon we can start setting intentions and about how we're going to use this energy and how we're going to embed it in our lives to improve our lives, to improve the quality of our lives. Now, this new moon and Venus retrograde is conjunct Lilith this week, and it was last week, and actually this card came out last week as well, and I talked about this last week. So it's with the Lilith component here, we're looking at our fears and our around abandonment, around rejection, around being shamed, around being cast away. So the story of Lilith is, and Lilith is an astrological body in astrology that represents those qualities, because the story of Lilith is a biblical story. She was the first woman before Eve, but she was not willing to be submissive to Adam. And so because she was unruly, she was unable to be controlled, she was cast out of the Garden of Eden, and she was replaced by Eve. And so she had to make her own way in the world, and the story goes that she she made love with demons and the devil and all of that. So it was a way of making women and femininity evil. but the root of it came from fear, from this patriarchal fear of feminine power, of how powerful women are. And whether you're a man or a woman, you have these qualities in you. Whether you identify as male or female, we all have feminine and masculine qualities. And so this is part of that really deep, rich feminine energy that we're talking about here. We're talking about that kind of feminine energy that people are scared still to this day of, because it's so powerful, it's so potent. We can move worlds with feminine energy, and that's the power that is coming up for you. That's the power that you have the opportunity to tap into at this time. But it may be coming up in terms of fears of being rejected, fears of being abandoned, particularly if you're too powerful. People may not want to be around you. So we have the Eight of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. So the wands, we've got two wands here, and wands is the suit in the tarot that represents our creative life force energy. And this is where that power comes from, right? It comes from that Kundalini energy, the powerful light force energy. And so this is what you're tapping into this week. Things are moving forward for you. I feel like that with that new moon, like I said, we've got that forward momentum. You get to set intentions, so you get to really utilize your power of positive focus, your power of creativity, and embed it with this new moon energy for the future to move things forward quickly. There may be a little bit of not really knowing where to direct this energy. You might have options. Seven of Cups, might be feeling a little bit confused, particularly if you're not used to this power. Power is very confusing. Powerful feelings and sense of empowerment can be quite confusing because it's so misunderstood in our time, in our society. It's so misunderstood. So when it comes up, some people are very afraid of it because power can be manipulated. It can be used to control other people. It can be used for evil. And so we're kind of shamed if we're very powerful, if we're willing to tap into that power, especially women. If you're tapping into like your sensuality, your sexuality, your sexual power, you can be it can be shamed. So anyway, the point I'm making is, it's kind of sometimes we are applauded for being humble. And so sometimes we keep ourselves small so that we'll get that acknowledgement that we've kept ourselves humble. So that's like right out the window this week. We're not doing that this week, okay? We're tapping into that power, but it can be very confusing. There's this spark of power coming from with the Ace of Wands. Okay, so we have the Eight of Coins and the Queen of Coins. Very powerful queen energy. Knight of Swords and the Strength card. We have the Five of Cups and the Six of Swords. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Wands. See, I feel like this is what happens is when we, especially if we're already like naturally very powerful kind of person, we have a very powerful personality. Like we can be quite a loud, like if we are quite a loud, bold person, and you have quite a strong presence, if you relate to that, a lot of the times you will have been dampened, you will have been brought down, tall poppy syndrome, cut off, made to feel small, as a way for other people to objectify and compartmentalize you. I'm not just talking about between men and women, I'm not just talking about sexuality, but I'm talking about society in general, and even your caregivers, your family members, people at work, because it's too much. If people are feeling disempowered when they see a powerful person, it's too much. And so maybe the other thing that could happen as well is that you get layered on with a lot of responsibility. We've got this Ten of Wands. This is why I'm saying that, because people think that you can handle it because you are able to do more than other people. And so people think you can handle it. They keep giving you layers and layers of responsibility. But it's time to put those wands down. It's time to say no more. I'm not doing that. I'm here for myself. I'm here to be this powerful person in my life. This Venus retrograde is giving you that gift. It really is a gift, okay? It comes from a place of pain, I feel, for you, that maybe something painful has happened recently or in the past, or there's pain happening right now that is triggering this. Like this is, but it's almost like a positive thing, because that pain, 5 of Cups here, that pain is actually making you come to a point where you're like, this cannot go on anymore. This must change. And you're like, something's snapping inside you is what I'm feeling. Something's like, there's like the band snapped, like, no more, I am going to step into my power. I do not accept this any longer. I'm moving forward. 6 of Swords. We've got the Queen of Wands and Strength card. So the Strength cards come out twice. We've got this double Strength card. I really love that for you, because that's the strength to, not only is it the strength that comes from being empowered, but it's also the strength to tap into your power. But also the Strength card and the Queen of Wands are both ruled by Leo. So it's just a double confirmation of how powerful this Leo energy is for you. For you, pile number 3, this Leo energy is really important. It's a really important part of your evolution, a part of your journey. I think this is a turning point for you, where you will no longer allow other people to disempower you. This is like the Queen of Wands she's so confident. She's a very confident queen. She's all about boldness. She's all about being bravely yourself, in spite of everybody else, and it being a shining beacon of to the world, to be a representation, so that other people can follow in your footsteps, can feel safe to be themselves. So we've got the 8 of Coins with the 2 of Cups. Okay, so I feel like you've been working on yourself for a long time. I feel like you've been doing a lot of inner work, and that's really great, especially if you've been doing it through this retrograde period since July the 23rd. We're also moving into a Mercury retrograde at the end of the month. So there'll be more work to do there. There'll be more of this personal development work to do there. But I feel like you've come to a level, like you've leveled up to a point where you're ready to take it to the next level. You're ready to really integrate everything you've learned and take it to a new level. Take your life to a new level. Things are speeding up for you. They're moving fast because of how well you have integrated and mastered this work, mastered this ability to be this confidently yourself. I also think it's allowing you to be more safe, to feel more safe, to be vulnerable, to open up to other people. If the 2 of Cups is another person, but it could also be your alignment and your connection with your inner being. So the more empowered you're feeling, the more you're able to allow that channel to be open, to flow, and to walk in alignment with it in real time. So it's actually oozing out of you, is what I'm seeing, is like your confidence and your power is oozing out of you. And so other people are like, it's really obvious to everybody you're engaging with. We have the Knight of Swords, double Knight of Swords, Knight of Swords on the Knight of Swords. Okay, I feel like for you it could be somebody else in your life. This could be somebody coming into your life, and if it is somebody else, if this is representing somebody else, I don't really like them for you. I'm sorry, but I feel like they're just bringing in this confusion, this 7 of Cups. They're too confusing, because I think they've got their own goals, their own aspirations, their own drive. They're doing their own thing, and it's creating this confusion for you around this. And so part of this powerful story, this empowerment story, is taking your power back from this person. Now, if this is you, it's like dramas in your own head are disempowering you. This is what's disempowering you, is allowing there to be too many options. You're either allowing this other person to have too many options, you're giving them too much, or you're allowing yourself to think about too many options. And so it's like, it's watering down your energy is what I'm feeling for you. Like your energy is being watered down by having too many options. There needs to be more focused action. So this action feels hasty, it feels rushed and uncomfortable. It doesn't feel inspired like the Ace of Wands and the 8 of Wands. We've got the 5 of Cups with the 4 of Coins. So this protecting your heart space. Okay, so like I've just said, that you're opening your heart space by coming from a more integrated, more aligned with your inner being. But there's also, this is coming from feeling that closed heart space. So you know the difference. You've been there, you've been where there's this Five of Cups, okay? And maybe this is where you're at now and this is where you're heading, or vice versa. You know that what it feels like to have lost, what it feels like to have pain, and what it feels like to protect your heart and keep your heart closed. And that doesn't feel good. So it's time to let that go. It's time to allow the fire in your belly to awaken and to activate your power, so that like you can be your own sense of validation. You can be your own sense of security, so that you're safe to be fully open and embrace life, fully engage in life in all shapes, sizes, and colors. It does require strength. That's why there's two strength cards come out. We've got the Knight of Wands with the Queen of Coins here. Things moving fast. I feel there's a lot of action happening this week for you. The Knight of Wands is that inspired action, taking inspired action towards something, towards something that really meets your own needs. This is how we feel empowered, when we meet our own needs, when we don't need somebody else to meet our needs, when we show somebody else how to handle us, how to be with us, by doing it in ourselves, and by meeting our own needs in a passionate way, meeting our own passionate needs as well, okay? Making our needs a priority. When you do that, you are empowered. You are walking in this empowered, strong, powerful place. I really like that for you. We have the Hermit card with the Strength card. We've got the double strength. Again, it just comes from being really strong within. With the Hermit card is all about finding the light within. It's about going inwards. So we're not getting that strength by finding other people, finding it on the external level. That strength must come from within, and that clears up the confusion. When you make somebody else responsible for you, for your needs, for your emotions, for your thoughts, for your experience, when you make them, like their actions influence your responses, okay, we disempower ourselves. We give our power away to other people. It might be the environment or a particular thing we're engaging with. It might not even be another person. It could be addictions, or powerful addictions that have power over us. When we allow that, we disempower ourselves. We have no ability to create in an empowered sense, right? So you need to find that power from within, and that comes from the Hermit card. That comes from strongly validating yourself and taking full ownership and responsibility for your emotions, your reactions, your responses, your thoughts, your feelings. Not allowing anybody else to have any power or influence over that. That's yours. You get to choose what they are. And finally, we have the Queen of Coins again, double Queen of Coins with the Six of Swords. Being that person that I've just described, we've got the Three of Cups on the bottom, that taking full ownership. The Queen of Coins, she takes full ownership of all of her needs. She doesn't ask anyone else to meet them, and she doesn't worry about them being met, because she trusts the universe will meet them. She trusts herself to meet them. So it's working on self-trust. That's how we build our power, working on self-trust. And that's what initiates the forward momentum. That's what initiates the next phase. That's what initiates the moving on into brighter times, into more co-creative, heart-opening times. So this is what you're working on this week, is that empowerment, is that sense of empowerment. And I think that it will serve you really well into the future, especially if you can embed that into your time now, into your space now, for the rest of the Venus retrograde and into October. If you keep working on that sense of empowerment, you can make this a habit. You can make this a lifetime for yourself. Okay, so that is your reading for this week. I appreciate your time here with me. Thank you. And thank you for subscribing to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next week's readings. And have a beautiful week. Take care.